There will be no end to it. Then you will defeat the entire purpose of the Holy Quran completely. This is why it is also discouraged to borrow money from the bank. It is not encouraged at all. If possible, you must avoid all situations where you must borrow money with the condition that you have to pay interest. Now, the question is not whether you should pay more to your friends or relatives or not. That is not the question. The question is whether you are bound to pay or not. Suppose you borrow money and your money is lost. You run into business difficulties and troubles, and ultimately you land up in a very difficult situation. So now the converse, conceive the converse of this. Does it satisfy your conscience that you borrowed money from your parents or your sisters and you are suffering heavily so that you have lost almost all your capital and still you have to pay more than the capital back to them? Does that situation satisfy your conscience?
No, that situation does come when the bank comes into it.
Of course, that's right. This is why I said that banking is not within your control. I started with this. Banking is not within your control, within your power. It is the international monetary system which has not been created by you. But when you permit individual transactions on usury, that is of your own creation. They are two different things altogether. For instance, to eat pork when you are dying, it is different. But to say that when I am permitted to eat pork in that situation, why shouldn't I eat pork when I am invited by friends? That is a more likely situation for me to enjoy pork. Why am I not permitted that? So it's not the question of your enjoyment. It is a question of principle. There it is a compulsion in the system of bank. There is a compulsion and the banking system is not of your making. If it is possible for the Ahmadiyya community anywhere to enforce this monetary system of its own, it will not be a system of banking based on usury. That I assure you. But when the entire monetary system is completely out of your control, you are not responsible for what they do. But when you promote these things within individual dealings, then you are responsible for what you do. Could you come to microphone? Introduce yourself first.
My name is Saud Ahmed Khan. I am from California, Sacramento.
You are coming from California?
I am going to California. I am just coming from Pakistan.
From Pakistan.
Right.
And are you Ahmadi?
Yes, I am.
Which family do you belong to?
I am grandson of Maulana Zulfikar Ali Khan Gawhar.
From which?
Maulana Zulfikar Ali Muhammad Ismail Khan was in India.
Muhammad Ismail?
Yeah.
For whom?
That's right, sir.
He was
in Hyderabad that time.
in Hyderabad, right? You were in North.
Right. My uncle Maulana Abdul Malik Khan. I think it's not a question or anything, but since this topic is being so hot, I thought I will say some of my feelings about it. Islam always encouraged people to take money and put in business and give the profit. The bank does the same thing too. They always take the money from the people and invest in different organizations and different fields of business. But with the exception that they are having some masterminds who does create profit, they channelize their money in such a way that they only make profit. They have to draw some line somewhere for their own law and order maintenance to keep people from cheating them and things like that.
Listen, I understand your question, but this question has been treated by me at length in one of the earlier sessions here in London, where I spoke on the philosophy of interest in the banking system as against the philosophy of Islamic monetary system. This question should be treated in the whole, not partly like you have put it. Once you understand the differences and you understand the inherent dangers of the system, that system is to be rejected. This system is causing evil in the world to such extent that in fact all the great world wars are direct creation of this monetary system. If you study at depth and in detail what havoc is being played by the existing financial and monetary system of the world, and the banking system is mainly responsible for that, then you will understand the fraud played upon the people as well as upon the nations. All the poor nations are being made poorer because of this system. The lending and profit is just a mythical terminology. Lending is no lending, it is in fact butchery. And profits are no profits. In fact, when the banks give you profits, they are only in name, because the banking system always goes hand in hand with inflation, never without it. They are directly directly related to each other. And the result is that if you study cool-mindedly the profits which you get individually from a bank, ultimately, and compare those profits with the value of the money at the time you get the profit as compared to the time when you deposited your money with the bank, then you will understand partly what I mean. You know, once an Ahmadi asked me in Rabwal many years ago that there is a scheme by the United Bank, double your money in 6 years. He said, it's such a wonderful scheme. You pay 100 rupees today, and after a year you get 200 rupees, and you have doubled your money. Plus you can get 100, if you have deposited 100 rupees in 1 year, every year you will be given 100 rupees after that. So he said, what a beautiful source, unlimited source of income it is. So I told him to experiment. I said, buy a piece of something which you can buy for 100 rupees today, and deposit 100 rupees with that bank. After 6 years, try to buy the same thing for 200 rupees, and then you will know what God has been paid for you. So it's all a fraudulent system. Money is in the hands of a few Jewish houses which play havoc with the financial system of the world. And the upheavals and the tides which come in the finances are so powerful and so strong and so wide in its effect that no poor nation can be saved from its impact. And they started playing havoc with the gold, for instance. That's all through the banking system. Now, the position of dollar is being strengthened. To what effect? Ultimately, it makes many people poorer. Many speculators sometimes lose his entire property because of these things. And these things are not in individual control. Sometimes they are not even in government's controls. For instance, what is happening to the dollar should be studied in direct relationship to what is happening to the mark in Germany. Russia is playing havoc with the mark by flooding the market with mark and buying dollars in the international market, with the result that a time would come when, to Russia's advantage, the dollars would be released. And when those dollars are released, then you can see what can happen.